So I told you that I wanted to make a video kind of about why I quit the industry, walking away from the gym, and just kind of getting fed up with that whole scene. And really, I think the gist of it was being around it so much, coming from my different backgrounds as far as living in Dallas and owning a gym and just a lot in general. I was a lot deeper in the industry than a lot of people that just go to the gym, and I think that kind of put a damper on things for me because for me, getting into bodybuilding when I was 30, so 7 years ago when I started, it was not not a whole lot different, but I took it a lot differently. Back then, there was less gyms. There wasn't any Vassas around. There wasn't, there just wasn't. There was less corporate gyms, and I was kind of happy about that. And reason why is because um, in bodybuilding, in general, it's kind of gone downhill. And to me, what I see as far as going into the gym and being the upper echelon of any gym now, being, and I know it's not really like something that's probably on everybody's mind, but for me, when I go into a gym and I see people that, I mean, they just look super average. The reason why I got into bodybuilding in the first place was because I didn't want to look average. When I saw bodybuilding and when I loved the sport, it was to me that if you walked past someone or you walked in anywhere and you saw someone that was jacked, as far as a bodybuilder that actually competed or something like that, there's just no mistaking it. You know what I mean? And nowadays, going into a gym and being the 1% upper echelon of any gym is pretty relatively easy for anybody that takes it serious. So back when I would visit California and when I lived in Dallas and went to the gyms there, I mean, the probability of you walking in there and being the top 1% there is very slim, and that's cool. That's motivating to me. But now people just look up to a completely different era of individuals or what they think is, the upper echelon of bodybuilding when it's not. It's definitely not at all. And it just kind of drove me away from it. A lot of people are making these YouTubes now about telling people, how to do cycles and all this sort of thing, so focused on like PED use and this and that, and telling people that this is that's an influencer's cycle or something like that, and they have no fucking clue. You know what I mean? They have no idea what their actual cycle is. They're just spitting out bullshit just to get likes and follows and comments about PED use, and it's just pathetic. And me as a coach, PEDs are very prevalent in bodybuilding, obviously, and it's a lot different when you look at it as a competitor aspect versus someone that goes to a gym and just wants to use gear for no reason, really, from my point of view. Because if you're not competing, there's really no point in using PEDs. So there's just so much that went into me, like, just having a bad taste in my mouth with the industry, that it just kind of sucks. And it's good and bad, I guess, if you want to ride the wave. And for me, shit, I mean, I have a big enough following that getting started back in bodybuilding is something that I want to do, but it's basically it's just not the same. But I am looking at building a brand out of what people want. If they think PED use is funny, and all these clowns that are making meme accounts and all this sort of thing, but they really just don't have any idea about it. So I'll probably end up making some sort of brand that just puts a spin on fucking steroid use so people can buy it. So but that's sort of my outlook on things. And of course, when I stopped competing, basically at the end of 2021, and got into cycling somewhere around the beginning of 2022, and I did that very heavily and took it very seriously, which it wasn't really meant to be. It was kind of just something I did that I enjoyed, as far as cycling. But again, cycling is it's a lot different than bodybuilding. It's the crowd that's in there predominantly is very judgmental. From the minute that I hopped on a bike and even posted a picture, people did not like what they saw because of my stature and because of my build and this and that. And obviously using PEDs before in bodybuilding and getting into cycling, it's a totally different world, and people took it as like a diss to the sport or something like that. Like, I don't really know, so it is what it is. But I won't be cycling for quite some time, and being able to compete during that, and that's just because of my past. That's because of being a bodybuilding for so long, and using compounds that stay in your system for years basically. So there's nothing I can do about that. It is what it is. But basically I just kind of wanted to make an intro about why I got out of bodybuilding, and ultimately why I want to get back in, just because I do want to compete a few times again. And I probably won't do bodybuilding class. I'd like to do classic physique. I'm only 5'6". I'm waking up right now. 187 to 189. 190 maybe. So I'm not looking to put on, another 30 pounds again, 40 pounds, because that's what I was when I stopped. And right now, being 37 and probably having to take a very serious year out of my life to be able to get back to a good starting point, really, to even be able to compete. It's going to take a while. So I kind of want people to see that process and what it takes. Obviously I've been there already, but I don't think that there's a lot of people that understand the real process that it takes. They either look at someone that's already built, or they look at someone that's not very built, but they just take a lot of pictures and spit out a lot of bullshit and get a bunch of followers. Obviously, again, because they talk about PEDs, and it's just wild to me that it's such a controversial subject in bodybuilding, because in bodybuilding there are no rules, so that's basically what it comes down to. But so with my whole outlook on this, I would like to be able to be as transparent as possible as far as starting over again, in the bodybuilding world, competing, rebuilding, and things like that, and for people to see, how long it really does take and what it really takes as far as the consistency, and that goes with everything. That's not just the training. That's not just the diet. It's a lifestyle. And people talk about how bad they want it, and my diet's on point, and I train hard, and people just you don't really get what it really takes. And I wish it was easier to convey that. That is why I still coach people, because I want to be able to convey that to people, and tell them that it's not really it's not pretty. You know, bodybuilding itself is not pretty. If you just want to be average, you know, cool, whatever is, you know, be average. It's not hard to do that. You know, it's not hard to do that in any aspect, life, in business, and anything. But, you know, if the goal is to look the part and be an actual bodybuilder and basically look jacked without having to do anything, it's it's a totally different world. So, you know, just kind of putting it out there. I'd like to have people's feedback that know me from my past, that know me from, you know, whether they've met me now and you know, been around for quite some time. So, you know, look for some things to come back around. You know, really, I'm excited. Basically, my main goal has always been to help people and individuals, but no matter what side of the fence you're on, when you're putting yourself out there or trying to help people in any sort of way, you're always going to get backlash in some sort of way, whether it's, you know, people talking shit, not liking you, talking bad about you to whoever for whatever reason they want to. And most of the reason why is just because they can't see themselves doing it and making progress, or they've been trying to make it or do something and make progress and they're not, and they get jealous. So I'm not talking about everybody, but it just in general, that's what I've seen. So you know, I hope everyone can kind of, you know, get a good taste in their mouth, and I hope I can be as transparent as possible. And hopefully I can help people along the way, you know. So if you have questions, you know, I'll try to be open and honest about everything. But a lot of people don't want the open, honest answers. They want to be told that it's going to be easy, or it's going to be, you know, no big deal. You don't have to work hard, and that's never my answer. I've never given anybody that answer. You know, PED use, I'm usually pretty open about it. I've been in several groups and several forums, and you know, people talk about it a lot, and it's just something that it's just so taken for granted that people really don't understand, you know, what it's for. If you're not putting your body through the stress and needs of proper recovery, there's just really no reason to go down that route, you know. So yeah, so I guess I'll end the video here, and I hope everybody can, you know, do what they want, say what they want, have their input, and you know, look forward to the future in however it goes. So we'll check you guys later.